Welcome to today's episode of Lip Service World. I'm doing something a little different today. As you can tell, we're not in the car. We're in my apartment on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And as I sit down to do a little bit of admin work on a big project that I'm about to launch, I thought it would be cool to start to take you guys along with me on a journey from right now, pre-stage launch, to launch. I am taking my free community that I've built over the last 2 years and starting to launch it into a subscription plan. So let's back up and use this episode as a way to set the stage. So if you are watching and you are interested in how do people launch paid memberships, how do people take the next phase of their business forward, hopefully this is giving you a little peek behind the curtain as to what it really takes. For example, I've spent the last 2 years building the lip service community. The first initial iteration was actually on text. It was an SMS platform that I was using to send out texts to creators, primarily beauty creators, with little tips and tricks and casting opportunities each day. So I would send about one text Monday through Friday, sometimes a little bit more. That platform grew to about 500 subscribers, and I was starting to work with beauty brands on exclusive gifting opportunities to gift the creators through the SMS program. And I really loved that. It was a very exciting time. But unfortunately, as I started to do that and I was looking into 2023, 2024 as the years that I might start charging brands for that opportunity, the platform I was using shut down. They could not monetize and keep it going, and I had to shut down the service. It was a major bummer, huge kick in the gut, because I was just at this tipping point of like, oh, this is exciting. I'm going to do something with this that like will actually bring in money instead of a year of doing stuff with it that was just completely free. I looked into other SMS platforms. I just couldn't find what I wanted at a price point that made sense for me. Someone who was doing something just because they loved it. I was not making any money at it. So what I ended up doing was moving the group to a community app called Flare at the time. And I ended up getting about, I think the initial group was somewhere between 50 to 70 members, and it eventually grew to 100. And at 100, I capped it because I didn't want it to grow larger than that. I wasn't sure what the future was going to hold. And for about 6 months, I grew that community. I did 2 free content challenges. We did a ton of chit chat, and that community grew so tight knit. It was insane. We had so much fun. All of the people in that group, I think, are still friends today. And it was something that was so magical that I was like, I need to open this up a lot bigger and need to start planning for the future. So that's when I did a lot more research as to where do I want to move this community that has a little bit more legs, has other communities on it that make sense. And so I chose Geneva. The Geneva app is literally a place for communities. They just received I don't think it's an investment. I think they were actually purchased by Bumble, which is a very large company. And I really see the future of that app going far. So that's why I chose it at the time. So this was very early 2024. Fast forward to today, we're in early August 2024. The Geneva app now has 215-ish, I think. Let's open up the app right now, actually, together and see how many members are in here to date. Okay, Lip Service World, we have 219 members here. So there you have it, 219 members in Geneva. And it's organized with various rooms. There's, of course, like a welcome area. I called it Get Ready With Me, which is where you intro yourself. We have a general chit chat, of course. There's an area to collaborate. A lot of the creators have found each other to go live there. We've organized meetups in New York there. I've seen people meet up there in Los Angeles as well. So it's really a, hey, I'm doing this thing. Does anybody else want to do it with me area? I'm very big on celebrating the community and celebrating yourself. I think that's a huge part of being a content creator. So we have a wins area and a goals area. So you can drop your wins and everyone can celebrate you. And I love the wins area because seeing what people have accomplished in the group is truly life-changing. Like, here's a few things. Doing my first live for Tarte. One of our members was the host of a live shopping event for Tarte recently. This got 15 comments. Everyone wanted to join the live, support her. Multiple people commented that they purchased something through her live. Like, it was a big deal. I have my second paid collab with Naturium running, bunch of comments of people celebrating her. A brand reached out for a paid partnership. Urban Decay shared and liked and commented on my videos. Kiss Products just reached out to me and is booking me as a makeup artist. Like, the wins go on. And what's even more beautiful than the people sharing their wins is how the rest of the community comes into the comments and cheers them on. Content creation can be a very lonely business, and that is one of the main reasons why I started Lip Service World, was because I knew creators needed community. They needed each other, and that's what happens in the chat right now. So on Geneva, we have all of these great little areas, including one of the most popular areas is gifting opportunities, where if you as a content creator see a form out in the universe that is open to the public, this is not by invite type gifting opportunities. If a PR person reaches out to you for your gifting, that's not something that they share here. They know that the rule is this has to be a public gifting form that says, open to all. If it says do not share this link, they're not to share the link in the chat. But if it is an application based that is open to the public, a lot of people come in and they share it here. And that could be anything from Sephora Squad, Ulta Beauty Collective. We've seen lots of different things come through here, and a lot of the creators get selected and end up doing the gifted campaigns, which is really exciting for them. In the past 8 months, I've built back up to 219 community members. How did we get there? One is, of course, me driving the ship, right? I create content a lot. I create a lot of content. I have my podcast. We have now this YouTube channel. And through those channels, I have really pushed a lot of education-based content for creators, a lot of did you know tips and tricks. I wouldn't even say I ever do tricks, but lots of tips. And a lot of, I think, motivational type content. And that really rings true for content creators. They need somebody cheering them on. And as a self-described and trademarked internet cheerleader, I want to be that person that's cheering them on. And I want to create a community that will also cheer each other on. So through that is how I got a lot of the members into Geneva. And then I think word of mouth, creators chit chat with other creators, they make friends, they're in other types of coaching groups or content challenges. They see each other at different events and they mention it. And that's how we get certain other creators in here. And that's how we've grown, because honestly, my audience is not huge. My largest audience is on TikTok. I think I'm at about 4,100, 4,150, somewhere around there. Changing a free community into a paid community, that is my biggest fear. I will just be honest with you, is that I don't have a big enough reach organically to make this a sustainable thing. But I'm going to take a chance on myself because I see the magic that is in our free group. And I know that if I charged a small fee every single month, I showed up a lot more. We had very intentional programming and, much more opportunity to have focused group work and group feedback, that a lot of what I do could be amplified quite quickly. Not only in the impact it has on the members, but also the impact it has on the industry as a whole. So that is why I do what I do. That is why I'm going through this transition right now. I have always said that I will keep a portion of this community free, and I'm sticking to my word. So one portion of Lip Service World will always stay free. We are keeping it. I do have to minimize the amount that we have here. So right now there's a lot of areas where you can ask me personal questions. I answer them on our podcast. I will always be in the chat, chatting with people, but now the priority of my focus and my time and energy in answering specific questions will go to people who are in the paid membership, of course. We've also brainstormed a ton of other bonuses, essentially, for people in the paid group. And I would love to know, your feedback, your thoughts. If you were paying, right now I'm going to say about $25 a month to be in a professional program, because that's really what this is. While it is a program that is meant for influencers and content creators in the beauty industry, this is truly a professional program. So it is meant to improve your professional skills as a content creator, influencer in the beauty industry. So if you were to invest in something like this, $25 a month, less than what you spend at Starbucks every month, less than what you spend at Sephora or Ulta every month, less than what you spend on your little trinkets and your little lip glossies and your little cheekies. I know it's less than what you spend. What would you want to see come out of that? What would you feel is like worth it? Right now, we are looking at having 4 live sessions a month. I would say 95% of everything that I'm doing is going to be live. So making sure that people get that one-on-one attention that they want, while it's still going to be in a group setting, because I think we learn a lot from watching other people's questions. So we'll always keep the group setting. You'll get my undivided attention in each of those 4 live sessions. We're thinking something that has to do with everybody meeting up and doing a content brainstorm together. So to back up, I also have a mentorship program that I launched at the beginning of this year. That was really just like a let's see what happens moment. As someone who's been in the influencer marketing industry for 10 years, I've had so many creators who I became friends with ask me if I would manage them. And it's never been a route that I was interested in, but I knew that there was something there for me in truly giving my undivided attention to somebody and helping them get to the next level of their career. So I created mentorship at the beginning of this year and started to DM some creators that I knew well. We had mutual relationships. We chatted potentially in previous partnerships with clients of mine. And I saw that they were growing, quite quickly, but that they didn't have management, right? They're in that like nice in-between place. They're making some money. They have some partnership deals coming in. It's still new and fresh to them, but they're not like at a management level yet. And I thought that that was really the sweet spot for me to come in and say, let me teach you a lot of the lingo about contracts, about pitching, about organizing your content better, more about the mental side of showing up and motivating them to show up, and consistency and how to relate to their audience. And maybe if they were TikTok only, how could we get them onto Instagram? There's a bevy of things that we do in mentorship, but it is very one-on-one, right? It's $500 a month. I'm just going to tell you the price because there's no hiding it. It's not a secret at all. I charge everybody the same, $500 a month. You get 2 one-on-one calls with me a month. Those are 100% dedicated. So it's not a group scenario whatsoever. That hour is 100% my focus on you and discussing what's going on in your content creation journey. And then throughout the month, the creators who are in mentorship are able to Voxer me. So I use an app called Voxer where you can walkie-talkie, essentially like voice note, walkie-talkie text. You can send images and short videos through it. It just helps me organize like my personal text inbox from my business work text and voice notes. So you're able to Voxer me every single day. I also do a check-in every Monday. I message them, what are we working on this week? What are we going towards? And they're able to message me instantly that day or when anything comes up. So if a brand emails them and it's not on a week where we have a call, they're able to send me a screenshot of that email. How should we respond? We voice note back and forth. What about the rate? How should I handle this? I'm really thinking about this. I'm sitting down to create content. What do you think about this series, right? So they're able to reach me pretty much every single day, Monday through Friday, business hours, although I do also respond on weekends and nights because I don't have very good boundaries. But that is mentorship. So you're starting to see the levels develop here, right? Free membership, maybe content creation is just a hobby for you. You like it. It's funsies. You haven't monetized it all yet, or maybe you just monetized a tiny bit. You're dipping your toe in the water, but it's not a main focus, right? It's not about this number of followers you have. You could be in the free group and have a decent amount of followers and maybe even be making money, but you just want to use it for community. You just want to see friends and chit chat and see what everybody else is up to. That's a great way to work together with lip service. Now, next level up is now going to be the paid group, right? So the paid group will have more accountability, more time to ask me direct questions. We're also starting to create a series of assets that when you come in quarterly or maybe even monthly, that's again something that we're working through in the beginning stages of a launch. We're working through like, what would these people get every single month that's interesting? Is it, an analytics tracker, press tracker, content calendar? How about tips, topics? Maybe it's a pre-recorded video of me giving a tutorial about something, a lesson about something. Maybe it's a glossary of terms, right? Again, if you have an idea of what these things should be, what you would want as a content creator, please drop it in the comments because I'd love to hear it. I have tons of ideas swirling around, but this is the hardest part for me, is that part of this needs to be planned and strategized and sort of like done in advance. I'm an off the cuff kind of person. When I sit and I record, and Evian, who edits a lot of my videos, says that I should be studied because she does not understand how I turn on the camera and just like say things. And she really barely has to edit what I have to say. I honestly don't know where that skill comes from, but like, thank you, Jesus Lord above, for giving me that talent, because I'm not a planner. I've tried a million times to be like, these are the bullet points that I'm going to talk about. Like, nope. It's not for me. So that's why launching something like this that requires a bit more rigidity and a bit more of a like, this is what we're doing this month, this is what we're doing this month, feels scary. It feels scary, but I know that's what we need to stay on track and to be most beneficial for the people who decide to invest in the new community. And I know the name that we're going to launch the new community under, but I'm not going to tell you because some things have to stay a secret, like we're not ready to let it all out of the bag yet. Back to launching assets. So like every month or quarterly, we're going to drop new assets for paying members in a Dropbox that they can access. And then the last thing that right now I have, my unpaid free community has access to this, but I think I am going to have to put it behind a paywall because it's just too valuable. I'm sorry. I hate to ruffle feathers and I hate for anyone to feel displeased, but I have to give value to people who are paying the dollars. On my podcast, when I interview content creators, no matter their size, I save a snippet of a conversation about what they charge that is only for our members. So that's just definitely a reason why, if you're thinking of paying for this community, I highly recommend it because everybody's always asking what to charge for things, and to hear what other creators are charging, I think is so helpful in deciding what you yourself should be charging, or in even knowing like, okay, if I want to be making X amount of dollars every month, this is the level I need to get to. Really, really beneficial. So that's some of what we've been thinking about, brainstorming, working on. I also want to take a brief minute, which like nothing I ever say is a brief minute, let's be real, but also talk about the investment behind this. So if you're watching this, you might think like, wow, that's so much work. Like she's doing it all alone. I am not. I have 2 people on my team under Lip Service World that are helping me work on this. Both are focused on content, but kind of in different realms. One really focuses more on video content and community management, and the other one really focuses on more of our like designed content. My personal LinkedIn, which I think like furthering my LinkedIn presence will really help me with securing more brand interest in the group, because there will be a future where I start roping brands in for paid members. Gotta keep dropping hot ones as we move forward. And she also helps a lot with like branding overall. In addition to that, I have paid a very talented consultant to help me one-on-one structure this to make it more clear cut, right? Like I have all these ideas flying everywhere. We could do this, we could do that, but someone needs to sit down who has seen a lot of people who have communities like this. That's what she specializes in. Her name is Vix Mildrew. If you're interested in something like this, I met her years ago. We had mutual friends. She took her business in this direction and I never really had a use for it, but I stayed in her universe and watching her content. She recently helped another friend of mine launch a paid course that I admire so much. It is so well done. So while the investment was not cheap, I will say that, I just bit the bullet and I said, you know what, this is worth it. It is worth it to make sure that I'm doing it correctly and that I don't end up 6 months down the line looking back and be like, wow, I really wish I wouldn't have given X, Y, and Z free. I really wish I wouldn't have promised all of these things that I now cannot deliver on, right? I really wish I would have thought things through at the beginning with someone who has that type of knowledge, which is why I had to invest in it. And I just said like, goodbye to the money. She is worth it. This is going to be helpful on my journey. This is phase one. It's planning, it's ideation, it's investing in something that doesn't even exist yet. It's deciding timeline, polling the community. What do you want? How much will you pay for what you want? And really just reflecting back on 2 years of work and 2 years of a community who has uplifted me when they didn't even know that's what they were doing. And that's why we're taking it to the next level, baby. We're taking it to the next level. So join me as I build this new iteration of Lip Service World in public. Tune in, subscribe, not tune in. I gotta get used to this YouTube stuff. Subscribe and follow along. I'll also be doing short form versions of this, taking you along behind the scenes as we ramp up to launch. See you soon.